Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the intriguing possibilities surrounding Chad Duell's future in the soap world, especially after his heartfelt revelations on a potential return to daytime television. Fans of ABC's General Hospital have been buzzing with excitement and curiosity ever since Chad Duell, the beloved portrayer of Michael Corinthos, stepped away from the iconic role that captivated audiences for years. In a candid conversation with Soap Opera News, Duell delved deep into his decision to pause his time in Port Charles, describing it as a much-needed moment to regroup and rediscover his passion amid the demanding schedule of soap production. This break, he explained, allowed him to reflect on his journey, from his early days stepping into Michael's complex shoes to navigating the character's turbulent family dynamics and high-stakes business intrigues. Duell emphasized how the role had been a cornerstone of his career, shaping his acting style through intense emotional arcs like Michael's battles with grief, loyalty, and redemption, but he also admitted the burnout that comes with portraying such a multifaceted figure week after week. Now, with this fresh perspective, Duell is channeling his energy into diverse ventures that showcase his versatility beyond the Quartermaine family drama. Turning his attention to new horizons, Chad Duell is immersing himself in two groundbreaking film projects that promise to highlight his range as an actor in ways Port Charles never could. The first film, tentatively titled Shadows in the Wild, casts Duell as a determined blind survivalist who must navigate treacherous forests and rugged terrains while carrying his gravely wounded comrade to safety after a devastating accident. Imagine the tension. Duell's character relies on heightened senses, memory of familiar paths, and sheer willpower to evade dangers like wild animals, sudden storms, and hidden cliffs, all while grappling with the emotional weight of his friend's fading life. Duell teased that preparing for this role involved rigorous training in sensory deprivation exercises and wilderness hikes, drawing parallels to Michael's resilience but amplifying the physical and psychological challenges to an extreme. This project, directed by an up-and-coming indie filmmaker known for gritty thrillers, is set to explore themes of brotherhood, sacrifice, and human endurance, with Duell's performance expected to be a standout that could propel him into festival circuits and streaming acclaim. In the second movie, Final Mercy, Duell takes on a morally ambiguous lead as a devoted son imprisoned for aiding his father's euthanasia amid a battle with a rare, agonizing disease that modern medicine couldn't conquer. The storyline unfolds in a dystopian near future where assisted dying laws clash with societal taboos, forcing Duell's character to confront legal battles, family divisions, and his own guilt from behind bars. He shared glimpses of the script's depth, noting scenes where his character reflects on stolen family moments, like quiet evenings by the bedside sharing stories of his dad's adventurous youth, contrasted against the cold sterility of courtrooms and prison visits. To embody this role, Duell underwent workshops on ethical dilemmas and loss, infusing the part with raw authenticity that echoes the heartfelt family conflicts he mastered on General Hospital. Though details remain under wraps due to non-disclosure agreements, Duell hinted at powerhouse co-stars and a soundtrack that amplifies the emotional turmoil, positioning this as a potential awards contender that challenges viewers to question right and wrong in life's final chapters. These films represent a bold pivot for Duell, allowing him to stretch his talents in cinematic narratives that demand nuance and intensity far removed from soap opera's rapid pacing. Despite his enthusiasm for these cinematic endeavors, Chad Duell hasn't closed the door on the electrifying world of daytime soaps that launched his stardom. With Rory Gibson now embodying Michael Corinthos and injecting fresh energy into the character's ongoing saga of corporate power plays and romantic entanglements, fans wonder if Duell might grace another sudsy canvas. He openly expressed interest in roles on powerhouse shows like The Bold and the Beautiful, where he could dive into the glamorous Forrester family feuds or high-fashion betrayals, The Young and the Restless, offering endless twists in Genoa City's web of secrets and alliances, Days of Our Lives, with its supernatural-tinged mysteries in Salem, or even the emerging Beyond the Gates, a fresh series blending soap drama with thriller elements in a gated community rife with hidden agendas. Duell elaborated that his decision would hinge on several key factors: the character's arc and how it aligns with his strengths in portraying brooding, principled men, the production team's vision for his contributions, perhaps valuing his experience with long-form storytelling, and an overall vibe where the cast and crew buzz with creative synergy. He envisioned himself thriving in a role that allows for layered growth, such as a newcomer stirring up rivalries or a long-lost relative unveiling buried scandals, provided the narrative promises compelling conflicts and emotional payoff. This openness signals that Duell's soap roots run deep, and he remains eager for stories that resonate with the dramatic flair he honed over a decade. Of course, in the unpredictable realm of Port Charles, nothing is off the table, including a surprise re-entry for Chad Duell in an entirely new guise that could shake up the canvas. Picture him as a distant relative of the Cassadines, bringing espionage and intrigue, or a reformed villain from Sonny's past seeking atonement, adding layers to existing feuds and alliances. The show's history is full of such reinventions, where actors return transformed to deliver shocking twists that keep viewers glued. Duell himself acknowledged the magic of General Hospital's flexibility, noting how its sprawling lore, from mob wars to medical miracles, lends itself to endless possibilities. As production buzzes with rumors of casting shakes, fans speculate wildly on social media, from dedicated Reddit threads dissecting potential pairings to TikTok edits envisioning Duell's face on fresh characters. We'll keep our eyes peeled for any whispers from the writer's room, ensuring you get the scoop on whether Duell might reclaim a spotlight in PC, perhaps intersecting with Michael's current dilemmas in ways that spark explosive confrontations or unexpected redemptions. Amid all this transition, Chad Duell paused to extend genuine gratitude to the devoted General Hospital audience that cheered him through Michael's ups and downs. He reflected on the profound impact of playing the character, not just as a professional milestone but as a shared experience that connected him to viewers facing their own trials of family strife and personal growth. No matter the exhaustion or the call for a break, embodying Michael was a true gift, for my development as an artist and for the way it touched your lives, Duell shared, his words carrying the sincerity of someone who's read countless fan letters detailing how his portrayal inspired strength during tough times. This appreciation underscores the symbiotic bond between soap stars and their fans, where off-screen breaks only heighten anticipation for future collaborations. Duell's message serves as a reminder of the community's enduring support, fueling hopes that his path will circle back to deliver more memorable moments. As Port Charles heats up, ABC General Hospital spoilers tease that the gripping saga of Drew Kane's shooting will unravel further, delivering hairpin turns that entwine business empires, hidden motives, and fractured trusts among key players. Expect revelations about the shooter's identity that tie into long-buried resentments, pulling in familiar faces like Carly and Nina for tense interrogations and moral standoffs. This arc promises to escalate the stakes, with medical recoveries complicating loyalties and sparking alliances that could redefine the town's power structure. Next, we will learn about the gripping possibility of Nathan West cracking the enigmatic shooting of Drew Kane and paving his path back to the PCPD. In the shadowy undercurrents of Port Charles, Nathan West emerges as a figure of quiet determination, his eyes fixed on reclaiming the badge that once defined his life. Fans have long speculated about his return, but recent whispers suggest the seasoned detective is on the cusp of proving his mettle by unraveling the mystery behind Drew Kane's near-fatal injury. Picture Nathan, with his sharp instincts honed from years on the force, poring over clues that others might overlook, perhaps a misplaced bullet casing or an inconsistent witness statement that ties back to hidden motives in the Quartermain Empire. This case isn't just another headline, it's a personal crossroads for Nathan, where success could silence the doubts swirling around his prolonged absence and restore his place among the ranks of law enforcement. Anna Devane, ever the cautious mentor, stands as the formidable gatekeeper to Nathan's redemption, her reservations rooted in the vast chasm of his 7-year vanishing act. She recalls the day he disappeared like a ghost into the night, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions that haunted the department. What alliances did he forge in those lost years? Were there shadowy operations or personal vendettas that pulled him away from Port Charles? Anna's hesitation isn't mere bureaucracy, it's born from a deep-seated fear that Nathan's unexplained hiatus might harbor secrets capable of unraveling the fragile trust within the PCPD. Yet, in her private moments, she wonders if thrusting him into a high-stakes investigation like Drew's shooting could be the ultimate test, revealing not just his skills, but the man he's become beneath the scars of time. The enigmas surrounding Nathan's missing era add layers of intrigue, transforming his story into a puzzle that mirrors the very crimes he once solved. Imagine him confiding fragments to close allies, clandestine missions abroad, perhaps infiltrating international crime syndicates that echoed the dangers of his youth, or even a self-imposed exile to protect loved ones from unseen threats. These invented voids in his timeline fuel speculation among fans. Did he cross paths with old foes like Faison, whose legacy still casts long shadows? Or was it a deliberate retreat to grapple with inner demons, emerging now with a resolve sharpened by isolation? Whatever the truth, these unknowns weigh heavily, but they also underscore Nathan's resilience, hinting that his experiences abroad have equipped him with unconventional tools for detective work that Port Charles has never seen. As the weeks unfold, Nathan's heartfelt reunion with Lulu Spencer promises to ignite a spark of collaboration that could alter the trajectory of the Drew Kane case. Lulu, with her journalistic tenacity and unyielding pursuit of truth, has always been a beacon for Nathan, their shared history weaving a bond unbreakable by time. In a dimly lit coffee shop or the bustling corridors of the Metro Court, they might exchange stories, Nathan sharing glimpses of his wanderings, Lulu venting her frustrations over the Corinthos family's tangled web. This encounter isn't superficial, it's charged with emotion, as Lulu senses Nathan's desperation to reclaim his identity. Her empathy could extend beyond friendship, urging him to channel his dormant talents into action, especially as her own instincts point toward uncomfortable revelations in Drew's shooting. Lulu's evolving perspective reveals a nuanced sympathy for Willow Tate, whose quiet strength amid chaos has begun to resonate with her on a profound level. Willow, often caught in the crossfire of Port Charles's elite dramas, carries the weight of her unspoken burdens, perhaps a hidden fear of losing her fragile peace after years of sacrifice for those she loves. Lulu observes Willow's interactions with a keen eye, noting subtle signs of distress that suggest innocence rather than guilt in the shooting. This budding alliance might stem from shared experiences of betrayal. Lulu, having navigated her own share of manipulations, sees a kindred spirit in Willow's resilience. As suspicions toward Michael Corinthos intensify, Lulu questions his alibi, maybe a late-night meeting gone awry or a protective impulse twisted into something darker, prompting her to seek Nathan's impartial gaze to sift through the deceptions. Meanwhile, the stakes soar for Nina Reeves and her daughter Willow, whose fates hang precariously on the threads of this investigation. Nina, a titan of media savvy and unyielding loyalty, watches Willow's plight with a mother's fierce protectiveness, her mind racing through scenarios where justice could shatter their fragile family unit. If Nathan uncovers evidence exonerating Willow, say, surveillance footage from the docks revealing an alternate suspect or a forensic mismatch in the weapon's trajectory, it would not only lift the cloud of accusation but also mend the rift strained by doubt. Nina's motivations run deep. Her publishing empire could leverage such a breakthrough, turning scandal into a narrative of triumph, while personally shielding Willow from the corrosive gossip that plagues Port Charles society. This duo's plea for truth adds emotional fuel to Nathan's fire, reminding him that every solved case safeguards more than evidence, it preserves hearts and legacies. Undertaking this probe without official sanction presents Nathan with a thrilling array of challenges, forcing him to navigate the gray areas of justice like a lone wolf in the urban wilderness. Lacking a badge, he might resort to old contacts, a sympathetic informant in the underworld or a hacker ally from his missing years, to access restricted files on Drew's movements that night. Envision tense stakeouts under the cover of night, where Nathan dodges prying eyes from the PCPD, or clandestine interviews with peripheral witnesses who fear reprisal from powerful families. The risks are palpable. One misstep, like tampering with evidence or confronting a suspect prematurely, could torpedo his reinstatement dreams. Yet, these hurdles sharpen his edge, compelling inventive tactics, perhaps decoding encrypted messages on Drew's phone or tracing a suspicious wire transfer linked to the shooter, that showcase his evolution as a detective unbound by protocol. Should Nathan's efforts bear fruit, the revelation of the true perpetrator could cascade through Port Charles like a storm, reshaping alliances and exposing buried resentments. Clearing Willow's name might involve dramatic confrontations, Nathan piecing together a timeline that implicates an unlikely figure, such as a vengeful business rival of Drew's or a scorned associate within the Cassadine orbit. In this invented twist, the culprit's motive could tie back to corporate espionage, with the shooting intended as a warning amid a brewing Quartermain power struggle. Taking down the responsible party wouldn't just deliver justice, it would affirm Nathan's core as a protector, his actions speaking volumes to Anna and the Force. Fans can almost hear the courtroom echoes, where his testimony turns the tide, vindicating the innocent and dismantling the guilty. Nathan's triumphant return to the detective ranks would be a saga of perseverance, igniting jubilation in the precinct and among viewers who crave underdog victories. Reinstated, he could dive into a backlog of cases, his fresh perspective revitalizing the PCPD's approach to the city's endemic threats. The thrill of the badge in hand, the camaraderie of fellow officers, it's a life Nathan yearns for, one where his skills prevent further tragedy. This resolution wouldn't erase his past scars but would illuminate his growth, proving that time away forged a stronger guardian of Port Charles. Yet, ABC General Hospital spoilers tease that the Drew Kane shooter saga brims with unexpected detours, promising revelations that could upend Nathan's carefully laid plans. As he delves deeper, startling discoveries await, perhaps a connection to long-forgotten enemies or a betrayal from an ally, that challenge his assumptions and heighten the drama. Next, we will learn about the thrilling previews shaking up Port Charles during the November sweeps, where dark family secrets, vengeful plots, and heartbreaking romances collide in unexpected ways. As the autumn chill sets in over Port Charles, Portia Robinson finds herself at the center of a whirlwind paternity crisis that could shatter her world and ripple through the lives of those she holds dear. The accomplished doctor, already navigating the stresses of her high-stakes career at General Hospital, now grapples with the agonizing uncertainty surrounding her unborn child's father. Could it be her devoted partner Curtis Ashford, whose loyalty has been tested time and again, or the enigmatic Isaiah Gannon, a figure from her past whose sudden reappearance stirs up long-buried emotions and potential betrayals? Imagine the late-night confessions in dimly lit living rooms, the stolen glances during routine checkups, and the internal turmoil as Portia weighs the implications not just for her family but for the fragile alliances she's built in the medical community. This dilemma promises to unearth hidden resentments, forcing Portia to confront choices that might redefine her relationships forever, with Curtis's street-smart instincts clashing against Isaiah's mysterious allure in ways that heighten the drama to unbearable levels. Shifting gears to the shadowy underbelly of revenge, Carly Spencer emerges as a force of unyielding determination, plotting her next move against the cunning Jack Brennan whose schemes have left scars too deep to ignore. Fresh from a clandestine rendezvous at the foreboding Steinmauer prison, Carly's resolve hardens as she uncovers layers of deception that tie Brennan to broader conspiracies threatening her loved ones. Enter Valentine Cassadine, the sophisticated Cassadine heir whose own agenda aligns perfectly with Carly's fury. Whispers suggest he's slipping her insider intel during hushed phone calls and encrypted messages, turning their uneasy alliance into a high-octane partnership fueled by mutual distrust and shared enemies. Picture tense stakeouts in rainy alleys, forged documents exchanged under cover of night, and Carly's signature blend of business savvy and maternal protectiveness driving her to outmaneuver Brennan at every turn. Yet, as their plan unfolds, Valentine's hidden motives could introduce a twist, making Carly question if her revenge will come at the cost of her independence. In the political arena of Port Charles, Mayor Laura Collins battles mounting odds in her re-election bid, where ambition and intrigue turn City Hall into a battlefield of whispered deals and public scandals. Key adversaries like the ambitious Jen Sidwell, with his corporate backing and silver-tongued charisma, team up with Drew Kane's strategic mind and the ruthless Ezra Boyle's underground connections to undermine her every policy initiative, from community outreach programs to anti-corruption drives that hit too close to home. As smear campaigns escalate with fabricated headlines and anonymous leaks, Laura's composure cracks under the spotlight, leading her to seek solace and strategy from a steadfast ally, perhaps her husband Kevin Collins, whose psychological insights could decode the opponent's tactics, or an unexpected figure like Felicia Scorpio, bringing fieldwork expertise to counter the onslaught. This election saga delves into themes of resilience, exposing how personal histories intertwine with public personas, and Laura's outreach might spark a coalition of unlikely supporters, turning the tide in dramatic courtroom-style debates that captivate the town. Behind bars at the Women's Correctional Facility, Willow Tate's incarceration becomes a testament to her unbreaking spirit, bolstered by a network of fierce advocates determined to see justice served. Thanks to Alexis Davis's masterful legal maneuvering, Willow gains crucial representation, with Alexis pulling strings through her arrangement with Drew Kane, who steps up not just as a friend but as a surrogate guardian overseeing Willow's external affairs from afar. Drew's added duties include managing Willow's visitation rights, coordinating care for her children, and even lobbying for early release programs, all while juggling his own corporate battles at Aurora Media. Meanwhile, Nina Reeves, ever the resilient magazine mogul, and Lulu Spencer, the intrepid journalist, gear up to amplify Willow's story through exposés and petitions, their involvement adding layers of emotional depth as old friendships reignite amid the prison's cold walls. Envision heartfelt letters smuggled in, virtual family gatherings via secure links, and Willow's quiet resolve inspiring those around her, but as external pressures mount, this support system might face its own fractures, testing loyalties in profound ways. On the flip side of family dynamics, Michael Corinthos continues to weave a web of calculated maneuvers, his quartermain cunning sharpened by years of navigating Port Charles's treacherous waters. From ELQ boardroom power plays to subtle alliances with underworld contacts, Michael's latest schemes aim to consolidate his influence, perhaps involving leveraged investments or insider trades that skirt the edges of legality. Yet, as his plans gain momentum, ominous signs suggest his streak of good fortune could abruptly end, delivering devastating repercussions like financial audits gone wrong or betrayals from within his inner circle. Invent a scenario where Michael's overconfidence leads to a pivotal mistake, say, underestimating a rival's surveillance, unleashing a cascade of unfortunate revelations that force him to scramble for cover, highlighting the precarious balance between ambition and vulnerability in his arc. This tension builds suspense, as viewers ponder whether Michael's resourcefulness will save him or plunge him into deeper isolation. Tensions escalate in the opulent halls of the Quartermaine estate, where Veronica Ronnie Bard reaches her breaking point in a blistering feud with the imperious Tracy Quartermaine, whose sharp wit and unyielding demands push boundaries like never before. What begins as petty squabbles over estate management, Tracy's insistence on lavish renovations clashing with Ronnie's practical efficiencies, spirals into outright warfare, with legal threats and familial interventions failing to quell the storm. In a bold escalation, Ronnie contemplates offloading the iconic Quartermaine mansion, a move that could symbolize her desire for independence but risks handing the keys to a wolf in sheep's clothing, such as Drew Kane, whose interest in the property ties into his broader real estate ambitions and potential leverage over ELQ. Delve deeper, Ronnie's deliberations involve secret appraisals and hushed consultations with realtors, each option laced with emotional baggage from her Bard lineage, while Tracy's counteroffensives might involve digging into Ronnie's past to discredit any sale, creating a powder keg of inheritance drama that engulfs the entire family. Amid the chaos, a flicker of romance blooms between Britt Westbourne and Jason Morgan, their paths converging in moments of raw vulnerability that hint at something deeper than mere survival instincts. The brilliant but guarded doctor and the stoic enforcer share stolen conversations in hospital corridors and quiet drives along the waterfront, their bond strengthening through shared traumas like health scares and narrow escapes from danger. However, lurking shadows of undisclosed truths, perhaps Britt's lingering ties to the WSB or Jason's unresolved loyalties to Sonny, threaten to erode this fragile connection, introducing jealousy, accusations, and midnight revelations that could either solidify their partnership or drive them apart forever. Expand on this, Jason's protective gestures, like anonymous gifts or interventions in Britt's cases, contrast with her independent streak, fostering a dynamic rich with potential, yet the hidden elements promise explosive confrontations that test the authenticity of their growing affection. Anna Devane, the legendary spy with an unquenchable thirst for truth, embarks on a perilous quest to unravel the enigmas of Caesar Faison's final, nefarious project, an endeavor that pulls her into webs of international intrigue right in Port Charles's backyard. Armed with decades of espionage experience, Anna pores over cryptic files and deciphers coded messages from Faison's old associates, her investigation leading to clandestine meetings in abandoned warehouses and digital hacks that skirt legal lines. As she inches closer to the heart of the matter, possibly a bioweapon scheme or financial empire tied to the Cassidines, Anna's pursuit draws deadly attention, placing her in the crosshairs of assassins and forcing split-second decisions that endanger her life and those around her. Inventive twists, Anna recruits a young tech-savvy ally for cyber support, uncovering family connections that link Faison to current threats, heightening the stakes as her boldness inspires a ripple of copycat sleuthing among friends like Robert Scorpio. Longtime fans will finally get answers on Nathan West's puzzling disappearance, a storyline laced with espionage, personal redemption, and shocking alliances that promise to reshape the landscape of Port Charles loyalties. From his last sighting amid WSB operations gone awry, Nathan's absence has fueled speculation, abducted for his knowledge, gone undercover, or entangled in a personal crisis involving his mother Liesl Albrecht. The November reveals unfold through flashbacks and surprise returns, unveiling twists like a double agent reveal or a heroic sacrifice that ties into ongoing vendettas, ensuring viewers are on the edge of their seats for every unanticipated development. This narrative thread weaves in emotional reunions and moral dilemmas, revitalizing Nathan's legacy while intersecting with characters like his widow Maxie Jones, who might play a pivotal role in his comeback. Complicating the air of romance and rivalry, Sonny Corinthos and an ADA Justine Turner navigate a charged dynamic marred by layers of manipulation, where flirtatious banter masks calculated games of power and persuasion. Sonny's mobster charm clashes with Justine's prosecutorial edge during courtroom clashes and off-the-record negotiations, their chemistry igniting in heated arguments over cases involving mutual acquaintances. Yet, as Sonny deploys his signature tactics, bribes, threats, or seductive distractions, Justine's countermoves expose vulnerabilities, potentially turning their attraction into a liability that unravels professional boundaries and personal secrets alike. Picture candlelit dinners doubling as interrogations, where whispers of alliance give way to betrayals, enriching their interplay with themes of forbidden desire and ethical quandaries that ripple through the justice system. Marriage woes plague Harrison Chase and Brooke Lynn Quartermaine, their union straining under the fallout from the explosive Drew Kane shooting incident that exposed fractures in trust and communication. As detectives, Chase's investigative zeal into the shooting, uncovering motives tied to corporate espionage, clashes with Brooke Lynn's protective instincts toward her Quartermaine kin, leading to late-night arguments and emotional withdrawals that erode their once solid foundation. External pressures, like media scrutiny and family meddling from Ned and Tracy, amplify the discord, pushing the couple toward counseling sessions or trial separations that test their vows in heartbreaking detail. Invent new layers. A surprise anniversary getaway turns sour with resurfacing suspicions, forcing Chase to choose between duty and devotion, while Brooke Lynn's music career revival offers an escape that might heal or hasten the divide. Finally, the budding romance between Molly Lansing Davis and Cody Bell teeters on the brink, overshadowed by Cody's burdensome secret about Rick Lansing's shocking captivity in a remote, fortified hideout orchestrated by unknown foes. As their dates evolve from casual horseback rides to intimate dinners, Cody's guilt festers over concealing not just Rick's plight but a trove of revelations concerning Alexis Davis's covert dealings, Christina Corinthos Davis's hidden agendas, and Ava Jerome's entangled deceptions that could upend the Davis family dynamic. The weight of these omissions manifests in Cody's distracted demeanor and evasive responses, straining Molly's patience and intuition as she senses the shadows in his eyes. Should the truth erupt, perhaps through a slip during a vulnerable moment or an intercepted message, Molly's reaction could range from fiery confrontation to heartbroken withdrawal, unraveling their connection and igniting a chain of reckonings that exposes broader conspiracies. Cody's internal battle adds depth, portraying a man torn between love and loyalty, with potential for redemption arcs that involve daring rescues or confessional showdowns. ABC General Hospital spoilers for the November sweeps forecast a torrent of high-stakes drama, from fractured families to pulse-pounding pursuits, ensuring Port Charles remains a hotbed of unpredictable storytelling. Stay tuned for ongoing revelations as these sagas intensify.